It looks like Dillon will be going part-time racing with Gaunt Brothers Racing for the 2021 season, and Pitbull is going to become a co-owner for Trackhouse Racing in 2021. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to another video. We got quite a bit of NASCAR news to discuss here today on the channel. Let's go ahead and just jump straight into it. The first story we're going to talk about is the Ally scheme that was revealed today. Now, we talked about this early in the year, and it was actually leaked earlier this year on the 2021 Ally scheme, but now we officially have confirmation on the Ally scheme, and in my honest opinion, this scheme looks spectacular. The colors look really well. I think the white works a lot better on the Ally scheme than the yellow. I think it makes the car look much, much better. It doesn't contrast as bad as it used to. I think it's my favorite Ally scheme of all time. It looks really, really awesome, and I think that this will look good out on the racetrack, and it gives a little more identity to Alex Bowman compared to, what Jimmy Johnson did, who's always had the yellow number generally on the car for the Hendrick 48 car, and now Alex Bowman will have just the regular white on the car, which I think is going to make it look a lot better. Remember, Alex Bowman jumped from the 88 to the 48 team, and I think it looks really, really cool, and I really do like this scheme a lot. On to the next story. Reese's is actually going to become the official candy sponsor for the ARCA's Menard Series in 2021. Reese's, great company. Really cool to hear the news on Reese's becoming the official candy sponsor of ARC Menard Series. You would think they become the official candy sponsor of, the NASCAR Cup Series, but it is really cool regardless that Reese's is going to become the official candy sponsor of the ARC Menard Series in 2021. On to the next story. Chris Cockrum is actually going to be attempting to race in the NASCAR Xfinity Series Daytona Open once again like he did in 2020. He will be once again attempting to race in this year's upcoming Daytona Xfinity Series Opener 2021. He will drive his number 25 car for ACG Motorsports in 2021 for that select starts. Chris Cockrum, I think, is a pretty good driver. I don't remember if he made last year's race or not, but he's a pretty good super speedway racer. He generally ends up making a lot of his super speedway races. Good luck to Chris Cockrum this upcoming season. Hope he can end up making it once again. But there are going to be a lot of people qualifying for this year's Daytona Xfinity Series opener. I wouldn't be shocked if we get up to maybe 48 to 50 cars, just like the Cup Series Daytona 500. There's possibly up to 46, 47 cars that could maybe be entering in this year's Xfinity Series Daytona opener. I don't know how many races we'll see fail to qualify for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. And I think the set field will be once again 40, or it's going to be either 38 or 40. I don't remember if they're going to be keeping that or not. But there are going to be a lot of people that are attempting to qualify for this year's Xfinity Series race. And it is really cool that Chris Cockrum will once again be attempting to race in this year's Daytona Xfinity Series opener. And now we're getting on to the next story of this episode. We're going to talk about a show that is coming to Netflix that is based on NASCAR for 2021. The show is going to be called The Crew, and Netflix is currently debuting its trailer for The Crew, which is going to be Kevin James starring in that show, ahead of its release date, which is going to be after Daytona 500. I saw the trailer for this show, and to be perfectly honest with you, I'm not 100% looking forward to it. F1 has, its really cool show, the Drive to Win show, and I think it's a really cool Driven to Win or whatever the show is called on Netflix for the F1, and I think this show is really, really good. Comparing it to this show, I'm not a fan of this. I probably will definitely check it out for sure, but I don't really have my expectations up. It may help NASCAR grow in some popularity, but it might also make people think that NASCAR, and they're not going to take it very, very seriously. So that's what I'm really, really afraid of. I mean, it's cool that NASCAR is going to get a show on Netflix. I can't really complain about that, but I am really, really afraid that the show isn't going to do very well for most NASCAR fans. I've seen a lot of NASCAR fans, including myself, that generally not been happy about the trailers. They think kind of as a joke, and it's not really good. Hopefully the show's better than what we've seen from the trailers, but I am really afraid that this show is not going to be very, very good for 2021. This show officially gets released the day after Daytona 500, which, by the way, that's about a month away from now, so we're not that far from this show getting released. And now we're getting on to the next story of this episode, as we have the first official confirmation from Rick Ware Racing headed in 2021. Joey Gase is going to be returning to Rick Ware Racing in 2021. He will be racing in at least the Daytona 500. Now, the schedule that Joey Gase has not officially been released. It did not say if he's going part-time or full-time for 2021, but Joey Gase will be racing at least in the Daytona 500, and he'll be in one of the charter cars, so probably either the 51 to 52 or the 15 car, because I think one of the Rick Ware cars is probably going to end up being an uncharted car. I don't remember if that is confirmed or not, but I do believe one of the Rick Ware Racing cars is going to be uncharted for the 2021 Daytona 500. I'm not surprised that Joey Gase is going to be returning to Ricker Racing. He's been with that team for the last couple years. Again, it's another slow car. And Ricker Racing generally is going to probably end up signing their drivers like Joey Gase, like Josh Bilicki, like their drivers they've had like James Davison. I'm anticipating the team is probably going to be like Joey Gase, driving a lot of races. I do anticipate drivers like Garrett Smithley, James Davison, among those also getting announced for the team. Ricker Racing is the last team that has like major charters that still does. As I was continuing to say, I anticipate drivers like, Joey Gase, no surprise he's going to be returning to the team. I anticipate guys like Josh Bilicki and James Davison, among others, that are probably going to be attempting in this year's upcoming Daytona 500. I expect those guys probably, unless Josh Bilicki goes like the tying ball in racing. We don't know much about tying ball in racing at the moment. But yeah, Joey Gase coming back. I don't anticipate Joey Gase to do much this year. I think he's going to probably be a back marker for most of the year, as the Ricker Racing cars have generally been a back marker team. I know that they eventually do, in the future, want to be a competitive organization, but at least for the time being, I don't anticipate them being at least a great organization overall. I think that they're going to probably run between like 30th and 35th many of the weeks. Unless, of course, a lot of cars end up breaking in super speedways, and maybe they can have some good runs overall. But the Ricker Racing organization is generally not a fast organization, so I really don't anticipate much from Joey Gase. But at least we helped the Daytona 500 entry list. That really helps at least, and it helps that there will be more cars enter Daytona 500. I do anticipate more announcements coming from Ricker Racing down the line in regards to what numbers those guys will drive for the whole season and what their schedules will be. Anticipate those coming in the near future. But it is cool that Joey Gase at least will be attempting and coming back to Ricker Racing in 2021. And now we're getting on to the next story of this episode. We talked about this last night about Ty Dillon a little bit in regards to him possibly going to Gaunt Brothers Racing in 2021. Well, according to Jim Utter, this actually is 100% confirmed. It looks like Ty Dillon is currently finalizing a deal at the moment to run at least the first two races of the 2021 season with the number 96 organization for Gaunt Brothers Racing in 2021. That would be in the Daytona 500 and the Daytona Road Course. Now, there's been a little bit of confusion regarding Ty Dillon, regarding if he was why he's not, signed with RCR at the moment. But a lot of people don't realize is that sponsorship is a really big key at the moment. Another thing to know is if Ty Dillon was truly going to sign with RCR and Xfinity, they would have announced it by now. The big thing, right, is that when Ty Dillon jumped up to the Cup Series with Germain Racing, Ty Dillon really did not have much sponsorship. That's one of the big key things to know, is that Germain Racing team had full funding with Geico, and they've had full funding since 2010. Ty Dillon did not bring Geico to the team. They had Geico. I think Twisted Tea was possibly a Ty Dillon sponsor. I really don't know, but Twisted Tea dropped, and then Geico dropped, and Ty Dillon became a free agent. And Ty Dillon has been really quiet throughout this offseason. But over the last couple nights, there have been rumors circulating that he was going to end up driving the number 96 car for Gaunt Brothers Racing. Again, he will have to attempt the to make the Daytona 500 this year because the 96 team is not chartered and they will not be running the full season in 2021. I don't anticipate them running full time. I anticipate maybe some more races coming for Ty Dillon down the line in 2021. But I really don't anticipate there being much with regards to Ty Dillon. What are my expectations for the few races for Ty Dillon? Again, trying to make a good impression, maybe collect some sponsorship down the line. Hopefully, he can maybe have some more races. I think he deserves possibly maybe go full-time. But it is what it is. At least he's going to stay in the Cup Series for at least a couple races in 2021. Again, I don't anticipate Ty Dillon doing too much because the Gaunt Brothers cars are generally not that fast, and when they lost their sponsorship with RS and Comsco, which is really the big reason why they ended up staying full-time, Casino Soares had that full funding and sponsorship for 2020 last year with the 96 team, even though it didn't make Daytona. It kind of is going to affect that team, and I really don't anticipate much from Ty Dillon in 2020. But it is really cool regards that Ty Dillon is at least going to be remaining with them, and at least in NASCAR for a couple races in 2021. And announcement, apparently, official announcement regarding what the schedule is going to look like will be coming out next week. And now we're getting on to the final major story of this episode. Pitbull is actually going to become a co-owner of Trackhouse Racing in 2021, joining the NASCAR Cup Series as a co-owner in 2021. Here's what Pitbull had to say about joining NASCAR as a co-owner with Trackhouse Racing in 2020. Here's what he said. I have been a fan of the NASCAR story since the movie Days of Thunder. As soon as I met Justin, Ty Norris, who's the president of the team, and Daniel, we were on the same page. They welcomed me aboard, and now we're going to show the world NASCAR is not only a sport, but it's a culture. Here's what NASCAR also had to say about Pitbull joining NASCAR in 2021. NASCAR is excited to welcome international recording star Pitbull into the NASCAR family as he joins Track-Out Racing and incredibly talented driver in Daniel Suarez. Pitbull is an iconic talent in the music industry and has tremendous passion for NASCAR racing. We look forward to working with him to further engage diverse audiences and introduce new fans at our growth of our sport. If you would have told me that Pitbull was going to become an owner of an organization in the NASCAR Cup Series, like you told me Michael Jordan was going to become owner, I would have laughed at you at the beginning of 2020 or going to 2021. But with how crazy things have been over the last couple of years, nothing is a surprise and nothing is a guaranteed at this point. This is huge for the sport. Pitbull, for any of you that do not know, Pitbull is a multi-Grammy winning award rapper. I'm not as big a fan of Pitbull's music, but I think Pitbull is not a bad dude. It's really cool to hear that he's going to become an owner of NASCAR. And there's a lot of promise around this Trackhouse Racing organization. You got Justin Marks, who's a former racer who really knows what he's doing. You got Ty Norris, who's basically going to be running the operations of this organization, and he knows what he's doing as well. You know, I mean, he basically managed DEI for crying out loud in the early years and helped that team really get formed up to its potential, and also worked at Michael Waltrip Racing for all that deal went down over there. And then you have Daniel Suarez. I think he's a very, very talented driver, and I think he also carried Gaunt Brothers Racing in 2020 this past year, made them a lot better than they were. He basically brought them about a 35th place team to about a 30th place team on a week-to-week basis, which really helped that organization overall. This is huge for the sport in the investing side of things because Pitbull can bring a lot of STEM sponsors in the sport, which basically that's one of the reasons why Justin and Pitbull are working together in 2020 because of the STEM partnerships they have, because Pitbull basically is running a school with the STEM program as well, as I think is really, really cool as well. There is so much attention around this team. I know that 23XI Racing has a lot of hype around it. I think they're the most hyped up organization going into 2021. But I think that Trackhouse Racing is going to have a lot of potential overall. And remember, they are getting RCR and Hendrick components together, which they formed a full Chevy engine component. And guess who won the championship last year in 2020? Chase Elliott, who, by the way, had the new Chevy engine components. And that's why that team overall was much, much faster in the 2020 championship race. They were pretty fast overall throughout the year, Chase Elliott was, but the Chevy teams are overall looking fast. And they also have RCR backing, so they're basically in-house of the RCR equipment. So that's really going to help them overall, and I think it will get them up to speed. Goals overall for that team, try to finish top 20 standings, also try to contend for some wins. And I do think they're going to get a lot of top 10s and a lot of top 5s in 2021. I think they're going to be a pretty decently competitive team, especially if RCR backing, with RCR getting better and rejuvenating itself over the last couple of years. And I think it's going to help Daniel Suarez overall. I think the only big question is how will Daniel Suarez perform in 2021 is going to be the major question going forward in the 2021 season. So, anyway, that is going to be for today's NASCAR news stories. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel, notifications, so you be notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Links description below for that, and comment your thoughts on today's video. What are your thoughts about Pitbull joining NASCAR in 2021 as a co-owner? Do you think it's great for the sport or not? Let me know in comments below. And what are your thoughts about Ty Dillon officially heading to Gaunt Brothers Racing for at least a couple races in 2021? Let me know in comments below. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you do like it so YouTube can recommend more of these great videos out to you guys. If you do that, I would truly and greatly appreciate it. Anyway, like I said, also support me on Patreon as well. Anyway, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody.